Hello Divi people, it's Andrew Palmer from Elegant Marketplace with our Irregular Vodcast. So this week it's Eileen Lonergan, the founder of the Divi Theme Users Group and eileenlonergan.com, and Michelle Nunan of divisoup.com, who is our CSS guru, an award-winning marketer, and a brilliant child theme maker. It's 32 minutes long, so have a nice long coffee break and enjoy.
Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Eileen. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for meeting with me. I know it's cocktail hour your time. I'm on my Queen Elizabeth commemorative
I love that mug.
mug.
I love that mug. I'm actually on my best mum wine glass.
Oh,
For Mother's Day. So.
I thought I was the best mum. I guess.
We're all the best mums.
I guess so. I hope so. All right. Speaking of being a mom, you are a busy bee. You are a coach. You are a website designer, and you are a child theme developer. So I have a list of questions, a little from each.
Yeah.
Do you care where we start?
No, you ask away.
Okay. So I'm going to start. I know that you are just outside of London, and London is my favorite place.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
I know, I did. Back in the day. It's like so long ago, it doesn't even count anymore. But I know from living there that you are bombarded with really cool things. Historically, you've got all sorts of interesting architecture. It's always felt to me to be the forerunner of fashion and design and billboards, and you go to the cinema and they've got those unbelievable adverts at the start. So do you get inspiration from all of that, or are you pretty inspired by what you see online?
I think I tend to get more inspiration from, my surroundings than online. I look at it's terrible actually, because I do it when I'm driving. It's really bad, but I look at everything. So I'm always looking at, like signage on vehicles and shops and billboards, like you say, things like that. Yeah, just I can't help it. Anything sort of designy. Yeah, I'm looking at. I don't really search online for design inspiration, but if I see something that I like, something that's been posted in a Facebook group or something like that, then I'll save it to Evernote and I'll tag it so that I can find it later. But yeah, mainly it's from things around me and stuff like that, and stuff that people post. I'm not a big go hunting for inspiration, because really most of the time it depends on the client as well, and I get, when I'm working on client sites, I get my inspiration from them. So what they want to achieve, who their clients are, and that kind of gives me what I need really to come up with ideas for design. And
so if a client comes to you and says, I want a website, do you say to them, show me what you like, show me what you don't like, or do you have a list of, oh boy, I've been waiting for a yoga studio or a technology app developer or whatever, and dive into Evernote and pull out what you have?
A bit of both really. I mean, I tend to work with female online entrepreneurs, mainly coaches. So, the sites in terms of content, they're quite similar, obviously. But for design, I go through quite an extensive discovery phase in my process, and I spend quite a lot of time talking to my clients to try to understand their business. And I have a list of about 50 or 60 questions that I use. I don't send the clients all of the questions. It depends on who they are, what their business is, who they're targeting as to what questions I send them. But before we get into the long discovery call, I'll sort of filter out the questions that I need to ask them from my list, and I'll send them that so they've got that in advance. And then when we have the discovery call, I'll sort of go through the questions with them. But yeah, it does include them finding and giving me sites that they do like and they don't like, but more why they like them and why they don't like them, not just I like this size. They like the colour scheme, or they like the font, or they like the layout, or, whatever it is about it that they like. And obviously that helps loads in the design process.
So that sort of is a nice tee up to the next question, which is, let's see. What do you do to get more out of your existing clients? So is that a time where you would, in this discovery phase, you'd say, let's also set up an email campaign? Or do you, at the end, finish up with, okay, we did this and now this is a phase B?
It's both, really. So in the discovery phase, I need to find out what it is they want to achieve from the development of their site, whether it's lead generation, whether it's higher conversion rates, or what it actually is that they need to achieve, because what they have in mind of what they need to get there may actually be not, enough of what they need to get there. So so at the start of the discovery phase, yes, if they haven't got a sales funnel and they haven't got, an email service provider for their lead capture and stuff like that, then I'll go into that with them. But generally that kind of comes before the discovery phase, because I probably spend more time with potential clients than most developers do, because I really like to try to build a relationship with the client before they actually sign with me, because I find a lot of the people that come to me have had quite bad experience with developers before. Either they didn't understand the brief, or they just, I don't know, they weren't experienced enough. There's a number of different reasons. So I try and find that out before so I can give an accurate quote. But then as well, what I do afterwards, so after the agreed project's finished, I try to keep in contact not too often. I don't want to be hassling them. If they haven't got a maintenance program with me, then I'll email them or call them every other month or so and just ask them how it's going and whether they need anything. But I'll also, if I see something that I think is relevant to a particular client, like a blog post or something like that, I'll email it to them and just say, I think this is relevant for you, it might help your business and that kind of thing. So I think it's just staying in contact and keeping front of mind with the client. So, if you haven't got a maintenance program, they still think of you if they might need anything going forward.
Do you have a tool for keeping track of the last time you spoke with the client, or is it just, I haven't, do you know it all in your head, or do you ever note for this, or how do you keep track?
No, I know nothing in my head.
I don't believe that.
No, I do. I have the worst memory in the world. But short-term memory. I can't remember stuff I did yesterday, but I can remember my phone number from when I was 12. So, I use 17 Hats as my CRM system. So I have my email hooked up to it. So everything, that I send via email goes through 17 Hats. And I I have all my contacts in there and everything. So yeah, it's all in my CRM system, because I'm just useless. My memory's awful.
Okay, that's great. 17 Hats. I love it. All right, the next question on our list. Can we move into coaching now? All right, so just to sort of tee it up, you coach for WordPress, you coach people on Divi, you coach people on Extra, you coach people on running their own web design business. Have I forgotten anything?
CSS.
CSS. Oh yeah, that's I'm sure a huge one. Okay. So what advice do you have for people who are starting their own web design business?
Find a niche. Find a niche that you understand and that you're passionate about. So, for instance, my niche is coaches, because I am a coach. I've been a business consultant for a good few years previous to this, and I love teaching and I love training. So it's something that I'm passionate about. So it's never going to get boring or old, and I'm never going to it's never going to feel like a job, you know. It's more, it's just fun to me, and it's interesting, and not just about how you feel, but when you understand an industry and you're passionate about it, then the clients see that as well. So yeah, I'd pick a niche and I'd narrow the niche as much as possible so that you can really understand who your ideal client is, and then you can craft your marketing really targeted to that ideal client. And then once, you know, the money starts coming in and you're getting work and you're getting jobs, then you can expand your niche, you know, to other kind of similar industries. But yeah, I think my one piece of advice would be get really targeted in the beginning, because you can't be everything to everyone, and you're never going to be able to please everyone. So, you know, pick something that you really enjoy and focus on that, I think, would be my best advice.
So I have your theme Thrive, your child theme right here. Can if I show, can you see my screen? Can you see it?
Not yet.
No, probably because I need to click the button. There we go. Let's see. Can you see it now?
Yeah, I see it now.
Okay, so and to anybody watching, this is a surprise. I didn't tell Michelle I was going to do this, but since we're talking about coaching, I love this theme, and I think that this is my favorite part with the frames.
Yeah, I have a thing about transparency. I'm working on a new theme actually, and it's got some transparency in it. I don't know. I just really like it as a design feature.
I do too, and I like this a lot with the titles in their own little box. Is that through CSS? Is that how you got that? Yeah. This is great. Do you have a favorite part of the theme?
I like, yeah, I mean, I quite like that bit too. I like the parallax on that. I'm not a big user of parallax because I think it's quite an easy thing to do, you know, to create a nice effect. So I try not to use it too much. I try to do something a bit different. But yeah, yeah, it's just the transparency. I like transparency, and I love the font in this of the Thrive word. I really like that font, but because it's quite sort of scripty, you can't use it that much because it's not that readable for text. But
right.
I do like that.
One splash of a special font really makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely. The odd word here and there, you know, the sort of important words picked out, it does really make a difference.
Right. And I love a transparent header.
Me too.
Right? Okay, so let's go back. Here we are. Let me go back to our questions. All right. Now, as a coach, as a person who's done this for a while and speaks to a lot of different people all around the world, any mistake you see people making, they're like, oh, gosh, I got another one. Like, let me let me walk you off the ledge on this. Like, it comes up over and over that people repeatedly make a mistake or miss out on something.
I don't know. Everyone's different. In terms of coaching and, you know, like people just starting their business, I think confidence is a major issue. You know, people think that they need to know everything right off the bat, and that's not true. I'm a big fan of just-in-time learning, and yeah, you know, there's obviously a certain amount that you need to know, and you need to have an eye for design. But you know, there's certain things you can wait to learn until you actually need them. So I see a lot of people getting overwhelmed with everything that they need to know, rather than just sort of learning what needs to be learned now to achieve your goals, and then, you know, get to the rest as and when you need it. I also think that a lot of people try to be everywhere on social media. And social media is so time consuming. And you can't do, there's so many big social networks now, you can't do all of them well. There just isn't enough hours in the day, you know, if you want to sort of actually do some client work as well. So I try to advise people that, you know, define your target market, your ideal client, work out where they hang out, you know, whether it be Facebook or Pinterest or Instagram, and then focus on that network and stay there, and do it really, really well. By all means, go and reserve your business name on, you know, the other major networks and set up a profile with your business information, but direct people to the network that you're active on, because it's really, really difficult unless you're sort of outsourcing your social media management. It's really difficult to keep up with it all because it's just too big now. So yeah, I like to, you know, try to advise people to sort of stick with one, and then maybe once you've got that down, introduce another one. But for me, you know, my client base hangs out on Facebook, so that's, you know, that's where I am. That's where I concentrate my time.
Do you have one that you like to be on when you're not working? Like, are you a secret Instagram junkie? No, you're working all the time.
No, I'm really not a social person. I'm actually really unsociable. So, I mean, if anyone, if you're friends with me, you'll be able to see my you know, my personal timeline, and there's like nothing there. I never read my newsfeed. As soon as I get onto Facebook, I just go into my groups. I don't even look at my newsfeed, which is really bad, I know. But if you friend me, then, you know, I'm never going to actually see anything that you post unless it's in a group.
Well, I find that there's a lot of crossover between the professional groups and people wanting to be your personal friend.
Yeah, there is, yeah. And I try not to connect with clients on a friend basis. I mean, I am friends with a few, but generally it's more because they want to message you, you know, before they're clients, they want to message you. So they sort of friend you first so that their messages get through. But yeah, you know, Facebook can be a dangerous place if clients can see, you know, a lot of what's going on. But then, you know, as I said, I don't really use it for personal stuff, so it's not so bad for me.
Yeah, I get it. All right, let's talk a little bit about child themes. People want to know, how different is creating a child theme from creating a client website?
Oh, so different.
Because you're your client. Are you a good client to yourself, Michelle?
And I never myself make the logo bigger. No, it's heaven. I love it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love working with clients, but I would be quite happy just creating child things all day long. You've just got design freedom, you know, you can just do whatever you want, you can just use whatever you want. It's just, I mean, yeah, it's heaven. I love creating child things. It's so much fun. Yeah, I've started another one already. So yeah, it's like my escape, you know, it's what you do when you want to sort of relax and chill out. I build a child thing.
So somebody who is thinking, oh, I want to get into building child themes, what maybe don't they know that they should know, or they're going to need to know?
They're going to need to know how to package it. I think there's like no information out there on creating child themes for Divi. When I started, I basically just had to work it out because there's no blog posts, there's no tutorials, there's nothing. So you kind of have to work it out for yourself. And I think that's what everyone's done, and that may be why everyone's so reluctant to sort of share the process, because they all had to sort of work it out for themselves. But I think when you're creating child themes, the most important thing is to consider that your end user is more than likely a beginner. Then, you know, yes, obviously developers buy child themes for speed and things like that, but generally I find that buyers are people building their own website because they either don't want to or can't afford to hire a designer. So when you set it up, you've got to make it as simple as possible, as intuitive as possible. You've got to make sure you've got really good detailed documentation on the installation process. You've got to make sure your CSS files are well commented so people know, what they're editing and what effect it's going to have. And making the installation process really simple with as few steps as possible. I think that's probably my best advice for that.
Okay, people want to know your sources for getting CSS.
Getting CSS.
I think you write your own. I'm just reading this literally. I think getting to know CSS, learning CSS, or finding.
Yeah. So I guess if you're just starting out on CSS, the best place that I would advise is W3C schools. They've got great stuff for HTML and CSS and loads of other stuff. And it's a good place to sort of understand the logic behind it, and it's great because you can they sort of give you an example and you can press a try it out for yourself button, and then you can sort of edit it and see how it changes the end result. So that's a great place. But I mean, my number one tool for CSS is Chrome DevTools. It's just amazing. I spend 90% of my working day in Chrome DevTools, inspecting elements and that. I mean, I find that probably speeded up my learning like 100%. And, and this was sort of years ago as well, before it was as great as it is now with the, responsive mode and all of that.
Okay, that's great. I think, was there another CSS source that you had?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Like my short-term memory. Things are in and out. Okay. If you could pick one enhancement to do to Divi that's not yet included, what would it be?
Oh, God, easy. Page builder on categories, archives, search pages.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, it's just, sort it out.
Sort it out. Come on, guys. So talented.
I know. They're lovely, but, sort it out.
Yeah, let's sort it out. Okay, I want to do this screen sharing again, and I want to bring up reviews, which is one of your other child themes. Oops. And I have a couple of questions here.
Yeah.
Before I ask the question, do you want to explain this child theme just a little bit in case somebody hasn't seen it yet?
Okay. So review is a child theme for Extra, and it's targeted towards internet marketers, affiliate marketers, product reviewers, people looking to build passive income through advertising and content. And it was actually a project because I have a client that I'm building 2 Extra sites for. And I didn't actually download Extra when it first came out. I wanted to leave it a little while to, let the bugs get ironed out as you do. So I obviously needed to get in there and learn it for a client. And a lot of it is the same as Divi, but with Extra, you have pages like you do, pages and posts like you do in Divi, and everything's pretty much the same. But then you've got Category Builder, which is where all of the modules you can see comes from all of the post modules and tab modules and things like that. And that is a lot different to the standard builder, because you don't have all of the modules in there that you have in the standard builder, and vice versa. So I needed to learn it, and I thought, what better way than create a child theme? So that's kind of how that started.
How that rolled out. Okay, so question number 1 is, do you have a plugin for affiliates that you recommend?
Not at the moment, because it depends. It depends what you're doing. If it's just an affiliate program, I personally use WP Affiliate, is it, or Affiliate WP? I don't know, the Pippin's plugins one. But on this theme, I just, as an example, I used, I can't even remember what it's called now. No, I can't remember what the plugin is called, but it's an Amazon affiliate, Amazon Associates plugin. So you can add shortcodes to the posts. So you basically, in the back end, in the plugin, you set up ad units, the categories and things like that within the Amazon store, and then it generates a shortcode, and you add that to the advert module that Extra has. So Extra's got, in the category builder, it's got its own module for adverts.
So that's actually fantastic. So you're not left with a competitor or some crappy product that just isn't your taste level, or your visitors would never want.
Yeah, and you can sort of target the ads that are showing to the exact sort of category that your post is about. So, you know, anything that the whole structure of Amazon, the Amazon website, and the categories and the subcategories when you're searching for products, you can do the same, you know, in the plugin in the back end. So you can just sort of target women's shoes only, flip-flops kind of thing, if your post is about flip-flops.
Yeah, exactly. It's terrific. You did a great job. And then will you take a moment to just explain the reviews?
Okay.
Or the star system, I guess I should say.
So that's the rating system. So that's what a viewer would do, rating the post. But then if you click on a post and you scroll down to the bottom, so you can see on that image you've got that bar there with 87%. So that's so this would be a review of a product. So you, as the author of the post, are reviewing the product. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the post, so there you can see the review that you set up. So in the post, you have, like, under the content area, you've got another box where you set up the rating for, the review for the post. So all of those areas of the review you set up yourself. So you can have as many as you want, and then you just sort of add in, you know, your number, your percentage of, you know, so for instance, that one taste factor, cost, ingredients, drinkability. You can add as many as you want and put in your, you know, your percentage sort of rating, and then it just calculates it as a total of 100. So yeah, and you can have that completely different on every single post. It's like a manual thing.
That's great. So it doesn't, these categories don't always need to be consistent, because clearly on shoes, you don't want the taste factor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right? And this is like a little sidebar between, I guess, you and I, and that wasn't a question, but you developed these post categories, or these post layouts, right? Mm-hmm. And how many custom layouts are in this review theme?
Oh, I can't remember. I think they're about 12.
About 12.
I think so. Yeah, I can't remember. I think it's about 12. 11 or 12.
Really, these drinks are giving your wine, and certainly my cup of tea, a run for their money. Oh. They look great.
I tell you what's the most fun about this was, because it's like a blogging theme, the amount of content I had to create. Actually, I mean, it was the fun bit and not the fun bit. You don't realise with Divi, when you're creating a child theme, you might create sort of maybe 3 or 6 sample posts, but because with a child theme you need to demonstrate, you need to have a demo, you need to demonstrate the capability of it. I had to create, like, I can't remember how many is on here, there's like 25 sample posts or something, and then finding all of the imagery for every post, example. So I spent a lot of time on image websites downloading photos.
I can imagine. Do you have a favorite image website?
Yeah, do you know, I'm so gutted. Dollar Photo Club.
Dollar Photo Club.
7th, so it's gone in like 8 days, and it's just Adobe stock. But apart from Dollar, I use Deposit Photos.
Yeah, I use Deposit Photos a lot. They just had a special the other day, 100 photos, $100.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
I know. Okay. One thing I like is your author page.
Okay.
I think it's really pretty how it's just nice and clean.
Yeah.
It's got the metadata, your categories, the read more. I think it looks really beautiful.
Thank you.
You did a great job. Okay, I have another question, and this is for people who want to get as smart as you, aka me.
I'm not that smart.
Yeah, you are. You're very modest. I know are a podcast listener. So what can I listen to get me to Michelle level?
I don't. I listen to like business and entrepreneurial podcasts.
Yeah.
But maybe not what you'd expect a web designer to listen to. I think my favourite, the one that I never fail to listen to, is the Smart Passive Income podcast by Pat Flynn. I love it. It comes out on a Wednesday, but for me, because of time difference, it comes out on a Thursday, which really annoys me. But I never miss it. I think Pat Flynn is comes across as a really genuine guy. He has really interesting guests, really valuable guests, and his interview technique, I find that he lets the guests really tell their stories and then sort of delves into the parts of the story where what the guest is going to say is really going to benefit the listener. And a lot of podcasters don't do that. So I think, yeah, and I've learned a real lot about online marketing and stuff from that podcast. So I never miss that. I also like Hack the Entrepreneur by John Naster. That's a really good podcast. He has great guests, but he has some more obscure guests, people that you sort of would not have heard of. But then he also sort of dives in a bit, to really gets into the story. And I really like to listen to people's success stories and how they started and how they got to where they are. And of course, divination. But I did prefer season 1. I preferred the format of season 1. I am listening to season 2 and I like it, and Nathan's wonderful. But yeah, I did like season 1 because it's, I don't know, it was like, you were on it. It was about people in the community, and it's nice, getting an insight into the life of people in the community that you admire and look up to. So I did like season 1, but I am listening to season 2.
Yeah, it is nice to get to know people in the community, and it's very interesting how many similarities we have, even though, geographically we're all spread so far apart, and our age ranges are huge, and our backgrounds are, because I guess maybe this is a new profession, so we've all come at it from different places. There's some, so I agree. I like the backstories.
Yeah, I really do. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything I should have asked?
No.
You want people to know? I know that you're busy working on a few new things, so I look forward to that.
Child thing for Divi, not for Extra. I'm working on a new child thing for Divi. But no. You can ask me what you like, but no, there's nothing I'm going to ask you to ask me.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Well, I really appreciate your time and your knowledge. And I know when I posted, who has some questions, some people answered in Facebook, some people sent me notes privately, but there were a lot of people raving about you as a coach and as a helper, and clearly you're an awesome community member. So thank you for all of that. It's really appreciated by so many. And I often see people post in the group, I read all the time, but I am afraid to post. And so even though you're not getting the people that are saying, coming forward with a thank you, I know that there's a lot of underground thank yous. So
Thank you.
you are appreciated.
No, I love helping out. I'd probably spend all day on Facebook just answering questions.
If it would pay the bill.
Yeah, that would be like the best job in the world.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you have a good evening.
Thank you, and you.
And we'll chat soon.